DeSantis comes in tomorrow, as we understand it, and now that will be a game changer because while he's been sort of soft running for a while, the announcement, it's official moment is a momentum builder for any candidate, especially one of the main ones like DeSantis. And I think you need look no further than like the article in Politico, which hit a couple days ago, which was an enormous takedown of DeSantis's wife to realize the mainstream media recognizes he is a threat. And while everyone wants to write him off as like, no way, can't get past Trump, especially the mainstream media because they want to run against Trump, the fact that they're now spending some ink trying to take down his lovely wife tells me they're scared. They are scared, Eliana, of this guy, his beautiful family, what he might represent, and how it might go if he manages to find a way around Trump.
Oh, I was just staring at the pictures of their beautiful photogenic family, which is why I didn't jump in and respond. But yes, I will get to the Casey DeSantis profile that ran in Politico magazine that was jaw-dropping. I thought we were supposed to celebrate empowered women and the men who take their counsel and listen to them. But of course, now that it is a conservative Republican doing it, this is problematic. We've got to be asking questions. She has sinister motives. But Megyn, before we get to that, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how DeSantis announces tomorrow. And what I'm going to be listening for is the following. He said to donors, he kind of did a soft launch on a call with donors that the New York Times reported. And he said, there are 3 people in this race who, getting in this race who could plausibly be president: Trump, Biden, and me. And there are 2 people who could win. And that's me and Biden. And I think tomorrow we have to hear more from DeSantis than Trump can't win. We need a better message than that from him, or he will not defeat Trump. I just don't think Republican primary voters are going to be persuaded by an electability argument. They have to hear from DeSantis. Trump is unfit for office, and why? Is it COVID policies? Is it his character? They have to hear a frontal attack from him, and he needs to make the case not only against Trump, but for himself.
He's in this very hard position because he doesn't want to lose the Trump base. He must win over the Trump base. And they're unwinnable. And he will not
be the nominee if he's too afraid, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, they're unwinnable to him right now. They're loyal to Trump. And so I don't know what the play is. I see the position he's in. If he attacks Trump full on, the Trump base gets even angrier and absolutely shuts the door to him. If he doesn't, it's like, well, why are you running then, Emily? Like, what if you think Trump's up to the job and adequate? What the hell are you doing here?
No, it's a good point. We've seen like some previews of what this attack could look like. It could look like COVID. They've already traded barbs kind of back and forth on who handled COVID better, and that's been part of it. We've seen Trump attack DeSantis from the left, interestingly enough, on the economy in Florida. And so it's going to be, I think, a real test of where the right moves. But that's the problem for DeSantis is he's one in the anti-Trump lane, but also in the Trump lane. And I would say, for him, he should just not overthink it and not have consultants sort of hand-wring this to death, because when he was elected barely as governor of Florida, took the reins and had a really successful run that actually I think shocked a lot of the country. That was because he wasn't overthinking it. That was because he found that voters actually just really liked what he was doing. He was being sort of thoughtful and intellectual and creating a blueprint for how to actually engage in the culture war with substantive pieces of legislation, to take on the media with substantive serious criticisms. And so that's where people started to say pretty organically, hey, this Ron DeSantis guy is sort of Trump without some of the Trump negatives, the Trump disadvantages. Maybe we should think about whether he could have a national profile and be a presidential candidate. And so I think part of it is just not overthinking things. And to the Casey DeSantis profile that Politico wrote, which was hilarious and infuriating at the same time, let's look at the way the media has treated Gisele Fetterman or Jill Biden just in the last couple of years, but Fetterman in particular.
Dr. Jill Biden, Emily.
Oh, I'm sorry,
right.
You're right.
Doctor.
All right.
As Whoopi said, she could be our next Surgeon General. She should be our next Surgeon General. Actual quote.
A little
it's just
respect,
a perfect side
you don't
by side.
mind. No, you're 100% right. So to bring the audience up to date, Politico on, I think it was Friday, drops this piece on Casey DeSantis. The Casey DeSantis problem. Quote, his greatest asset and his greatest liability. Okay, by some, she's been seen mostly as a superstar of a political spouse, a not-so-secret weapon, an antidote for her sometimes awkward husband. And then they go on to say the following. Okay. The more complicated, but also more instructive reality is that she's neither the fawning caricature she's made out to be in conservative circles, and even sometimes the mainstream media, nor a Shakespearean villain. She might well be a bit of both. She can ameliorate some of the effects of his idiosyncrasies. She can also accentuate, even exacerbate his hubris, his paranoia, his vaulting ambition, because those are all traits that they share. He wouldn't be where he is without her. He might not get to where he wants to go because of her. Okay, wait, it gets better. She's like, they're so transparent, right, in their hate. Political notes, many people would only speak anonymously because of the power of a governor who might be a president, and also that of his wife, and what they perceive to be their collective capacity for spite. She's more paranoid than he is, said a staffer. He's a vindictive motherfucker. She's twice that, said a higher up on one of his campaigns. She's the scorekeeper. Hello, we all are when it comes to our husbands. I mean, you mess with Doug, you'll get it from me. I'll get you sooner or later, trust me. I'll lie in wait and I'll get you. That's how every good spouse is. Some of the sharpest knives in the set belong to her, said the GOP lobbyist that they spoke with. Does she also feed into his worst instincts of being secluded and insular and standoffish with staff? Yes, she does. And there's, of course, a comparison to Lady Macbeth in here, notwithstanding Politico's position in November 2012, that comparing women in politics, showing images of Hillary, Jill Biden, and Gisele Fetterman to Lady Macbeth, is sexist. And yet it appears, I think, twice in this article about Casey DeSantis. So really, it's only sexist if it's against a Democrat. That's generally how it works, Eliana.
You know, I do think it's worth noting that the Lady Macbeth comment came from Trump ally Roger Stone, and that some of these attacks on Casey DeSantis are actually coming from the right, because the Trump people are scared of her too. I have met her in person. It's kind of the elephant in the room. She is drop dead gorgeous. Okay. She looks like a beauty queen. She's lovely. She's very smart. She's formidable, and he listens to her. People's spouses are important. And I actually got kind of a Nancy Reagan vibe from reading this article, in that like she's kind of an enforcer. I don't know when that became a bad thing. But it is Politico's job to say that the tropes emanating from the primary from DeSantis's political opponents towards Casey DeSantis are sexist. And they put none of that context around this. And it's offensive. It's offensive. They would never, ever allow a Democratic spouse to be attacked in this way without contextualizing in that way.
You're exactly right. And, Emily, it does show something, though, about how they actually feel, because, the mainstream's got a million pieces about how it's Trump's. It's Trump's. It's Trump's. It's done. It's over. I mean, you might as well be talking to a Trump staffer when you read most of the mainstream papers on where the GOP primary race is. And I realize he's the overwhelming favorite, of course. I think the latest poll had him at 61 and DeSantis at 16. However, pieces like this kind of show what's really going on. Their real belief is that DeSantis does have a meaningful chance still and must be hobbled. That they, like Trump, want to, as they put in this piece, kill the DeSantis candidacy in its crib.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the Trump campaign and the media have one thing in common, and that is they love drama. They love the blood sport of politics. And the Trump campaign, I think that's why they've always gotten along with the media. If you go back to 2015, obviously they don't get along with the media in the sense that they're constantly publicly at loggerheads. But Trump, despite all of his complaints about the media, has leaked constantly to the mainstream media, the so-called mainstream media, is constantly talking to Politico Politico, New York Times, his people are, maybe not him himself, because they're always going to be quoted. They have great relationships. They text back and forth, the Trump allies, Roger Stone, every corporate media reporter here in DC has Roger Stone's phone number. They all talk to these like Trump consultants, Trump hangers on. And I think that's where there's kind of an advantage to Donald Trump media wise. And the media doesn't realize they're being played by the Trump camp when the Trump camp comes to them with stuff. I remember I was working on a story a few years ago about a Republican, and some of his former staffers were complaining about his wife having too much control over the office. And the deeper I got into the story, the more I realized there was no news there. It was just a protective, good wife taking care of her husband.
Right.
And so I ended up not running the story, but they would never do that because they live for the conflict and they see the conflict as inherently newsworthy when it's against a Republican. But if it's against a Democrat, they see what's newsworthy as her not being devious or sinister, but her being in control and smart and strategic. And it's just a fascinating, I think, side by side, particularly the Fetterman example.
Now that it's spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy your backyard. But does your backyard need a makeover just in time for summer? Start with the perfect centerpiece, a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas. A Michael Phelps swim spa can transform your backyard into an oasis. The swim spa is an alternative to a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. Michael Phelps swim spas have a water current so you can swim, you can do aquatic exercises, and have fun with the kids. And because it's heated, you can choose your perfect water temperature and use it all year long in any climate. Michael Phelps swim spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. And this is not a long, intimidating project. In fact, delivery and installation can take less than a day once your space is ready. Michael Phelps swim spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. You will love your Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK, and that's going to save you $1,000 on a Michael Phelps swim spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.